Hello my darlings, and welcome back to a new video. As is the norm with speedrunning nowadays, it's very common for someone to put a lot of time into creating a piece of scripted content, only for that work to almost immediately become outdated. Well, today that unfortunate fate lies on my San Andreas world record progression video, as a new skip was recently discovered that skips 2 entire missions. One of these missions being Snail Trail, which is extremely long and includes many luck factors. Skipping this mission has been known to be possible for years, but strategies to do so were never quite viable in a speedrun. That all changes today, and allow me to explain why. First, I'm going to explain how mission duplication works in San Andreas, as this is ultimately the strat that allows you to skip entire missions in the first place. This concept is widely known at this point, and has been for years, so anyone who's familiar with the concept is welcome to skip to the timestamp on screen to get to the new and exciting stuff. Alright, now those freaks are out of the way, let's start from the top. San Andreas missions are in what we call chains. Let's take Sweet's early missions for example. Sweet's first mission in San Andreas is tagging up turf, followed by cleaning the hood and drive-through. Yes, that mission, haha.
Say the line, Bart!
Number 9.
The game uses a counter to track how many missions in each chain have been completed, and this means that it is possible to duplicate certain missions to complete them twice, which then skips the next mission in the sequence. For example, if you duplicate tagging up turf and finish both of the instances, you will skip cleaning the hood and go straight to drive-through. This concept is used in speedruns to skip long and extremely annoying missions, which saves a great deal of time. Keep this in mind for later. Once mission duplication was discovered, runners took to duping any mission they could to see what was possible and what wasn't. Furthermore, more technical members of the community scoured the game's code to see what each mission required to be started, to see if it was possible to skip entire chains of missions. In this instance, we are going to take a look at 2 chains in San Fierro. These chains are the Syndicate chain, which contains most of the main San Fierro storyline, and the Crash San Fierro chain, which are 2 missions you must complete for 10 penny, 555 Wee Tip and Snail Trail. Outrider falls around halfway through the Syndicate chain, and duplicating this mission would skip Ice Cold Killer. This skip seems fairly standard, except when you take a look at the code and see something very, very important. Remember how I said earlier how members of the community check the code to see what missions required in order to be started? Well, Rockstar made a choice here to only check for the San Fierro Crash chain be completed on 1 mission, Ice Cold Killer. Every subsequent San Fierro mission does not check if that chain has been completed, as Rockstar assumed that players must have completed this chain earlier in order to reach this part of the game. This meant that if Ice Cold Killer was somehow skipped, there would be no reason to complete Snail Trail either. This is especially important as Snail Trail is an extremely long mission, where you must slowly tail a reporter from San Fierro all the way to Los Santos. And to make it even worse, the taxi's driving pattern is random. If you are unlucky here, you can lose a minute due to no fault of your own, so the mission became extremely despised in the community. For this reason, duplicating Outrider to skip both Snail Trail and Ice Cold Killer became something everybody wanted, but there was one big problem. The dupe didn't work. A few years ago, some runners had tested Outrider duplication in order to try and skip these 2 annoying missions. They ran into several issues, however. One was fixable, but one was not. The first issue was that the game would try to create the mission blockades without properly loading in the models, which would crash the game. This was easily fixed by playing a replay which already contained these models, so the game could load them beforehand. However, the second issue was that there was no known way to complete the second instance of the mission. In order to trigger the final cutscene, the mission instances check a flag to see if they can do so. The first instance does this correctly and sets the flag, but the second instance sees that the flag is already set and cannot continue to trigger the cutscene. There was no known way to remedy this, and the pipe dream was dead. However, 3 years later, completely out of the blue, a user named Lily posted in a Discord that they discovered a way to fix this second issue, by pushing the bike you use for the mission all the way to the final trigger and entering it before playing the replay. This change of order meant that the mission would no longer get stuck waiting for the flag. And it was quickly discovered that this new strat simply required any replay for the models to be loaded. It wasn't long before runners started testing theories overnight and discovering more optimal setups to make this skip a reality. Let's take a look at some footage. Usually when duplicating missions, you can simply start the mission twice immediately. However, there are some exceptions, as if you do this for Outrider, the mission will fail as Torino's car gets destroyed. This is avoided by killing CJ as you hit the mission trigger to spawn the car, and then starting the mission once more. Once you have 2 instances running, you need to gain access to the van in order to place it inside the final trigger with the bike. This is done by damaging the van enough to make the driver exit the vehicle and flee, leaving the door open in the process, which allows us to take control and drive it straight to the end. The difficult part is now getting the bike to the same place without entering it, as entering the bike starts the next mission sequence, and we don't want that to happen yet. A nearby bullet is used in order to push the bike all the way up the hill and to the final trigger. Once both vehicles are here, you hop on the bike, play a replay to load the models correctly, and then you will activate the final trigger as soon as the mission sequence starts, which passes both instances of Outrider and skips both Snail Trail and Ice Cold Killer. From here you can go straight to Pier 69 and continue the game as normal. This is estimated to save around 2 minutes currently, and removes one of the biggest luck-based segments from the run. I'm sure this strat will be further developed, and if it does, I will be sure to keep you in the loop. Until then, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time.